time for Healthy Habits. Dr. Johnny's on the line. Hello, how are you, Dr. Johnny Bloomfield?
Good morning, John. How are you?
Let me check. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good. So today, we're going to talk about... That's us done. Thanks very much. We're both fine.
Okay.
No need for any healthy habits at all. Everything's working as it should. Blood donation. Now, I used to give blood every 6 months until the nurse who was taking my blood said, do you know what? It's not worth the effort or the hassle. You don't need to come back. And the reason for it? I passed out every time I gave blood.
All right.
So on that final occasion, what had happened, the poor woman was in a hall, as quite often the blood donation sessions are. I passed out. I told her in advance. I said, I'm going to pass out here. And she said, okay. So I passed out. And when I came round, she said, how are you getting home? I said, I'm driving. She said, no, you're not. She said, you have to sit here for an hour. And it was the end of the session. So she sat with me for an hour, making sure that I didn't leave and get into the car. And I'm probably sharing too much, but blood donating is hugely important because every blood donation saves 3 lives. Isn't that right?
That's right. Okay. So yeah, the Northern Ireland Blood Transfusion Service have a very catchy slogan here. 1 give equals 3 live. So I was chatting with Rick last week about healthy habits, or mental health awareness day, and we were talking about the 5 ways to well-being, and one of those ways, of course, is give, and blood donation is probably the ultimate act of generosity, the ultimate give that we can do. Imagine if you were to donate your blood, and you knew that within 5 days you would have saved 3 lives.
That's incredible, isn't it?
That's pretty incredible.
So surely that's why we're all on this planet, to make a difference to other people. And if we have the power and the ability to do that within 5 days, we've saved 3 lives.
So the blood transfusion service, no drop is ever wasted, and they're unfortunately the demand doesn't meet the supply here. Only they need 1,200 blood donors every week, so that's roughly a donation every 8 minutes, day and night. And there's only 6% of the people who are eligible donors, or estimated eligible donors, are actually giving. So only 6% of us, of our population, are active donors. So the purpose of today's call really is just to encourage people with that act of ultimate generosity, and if you feel that you could possibly give it a consideration, and why not become a blood donor. I'm actually donating blood this afternoon. This is one reason why I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention today. A couple of years ago,
where are you donating, Johnny?
The Stormont Hotel will be, so the blood transfusion service go all around there's venues all over the country, all around the year, and they will come to workplaces, they'll come to churches, they'll come to schools. So they're very portable, or they move around the country and have a regular donation slot. So it's not just the headquarters in Belfast that you need to consider going to. So there's always one very locally. Like maybe I don't have to drive there. I can walk there. Fortunately enough, I haven't passed out or felt faint after a donation, and many people don't either. And the process itself takes about 45 minutes of my time. So that's from start to finish, from when I enter the building to when I leave the building. The actual act of donation itself is roughly about 10 minutes of that time. So there's part of it is checking in. You've got a questionnaire to do. You've got a nurse to speak to, and then you got to get yourself onto the couch and get comfortable. And then they do the donation, and then there's an aftercare, and there's juice and bickies. So I mean that's a brilliant reason to come for the juice and the bickies afterwards.
Definitely, the juice and the bickies are a real attraction, and you're absolutely right. And I should point out very definitely that the majority of people feel absolutely fine giving blood, and it has no effect on your body at all. You feel no different, and you get juice and bickies. It's only the rare occurrences like my own that pass out. Yeah, but I'm going to go back. I don't care. I'm going to go back and give blood.
Great, good on you. So dispel a few myths. You know, so one of the problems why there's only 6% of us donating is maybe we're not aware. We don't. It doesn't really hit our radar. So this is why it's so important to get on the radio and just to tell people, hey, you know, if you ever thought about it, or if you think you could do it, text blood to 681 or 60081 or Google Give Blood NI and find the Northern Ireland Blood Transfusion Service and look at the criteria there, and most of us are eligible, even if you're a smoker or if you've tattoos or if you have piercings and so on, or if you've been travelling, that that doesn't rule you out necessarily from donating blood. So just be aware that you got to look up the criteria and check. Then if people think it's painful or they think it takes forever, as I said, it's only 45 minutes start to finish. It's really not painful, and you can certainly tolerate the discomfort, the mild discomfort. People are worried about that after effect, like you mentioned. People hear stories about fainting or passing out and so on, and it happens, but it happens on a rare, a very few number of people, and as I say, the majority of people that visit the service, they walk out. Now it's not worth like doing anything strenuous for the rest of the day, like if you've got a strenuous job or if you've got the sports to play or something. Take it easy for the rest of the day, but see, the next day you should be right as rain and ready to go again. So the after effects aren't very long lasting.
And there are huge advantages. Number one, the altruism that you have referred to, that you do feel better afterwards, and the endorphins that you get from that create positive health outcomes like lowering the risk of depression and a longer life. But also regular donation, I didn't know this, is linked to lower blood pressure and lower risk of heart attacks.
Yeah, there is some linkage towards those two. The one reason why people do become a donor is because they end up having a personal connection in their lives. So I was saying I had a routine blood test in my 40s, and I had high iron, so I explored that further, and I have genetic hemochromatosis, and one way to manage that condition is for regular donation, and so that was my personal motive. But then other things like childbirth, or families having surgery, or people suffering things like cancer, like long-term conditions, and they all need blood transfusion. Or, I mean, if you think of traumatic road accidents where blood is needed right there on the spot, the air ambulance carry red blood cells from the donations made at the transfusion service. So you think of someone who is life-threatening, life-critical at the side of a road, your donation could save that person's life. And we should, and what the service is particularly calling out for is new donators. So that they need people that are 17 or over can start to donate, but they need to start to swell that population because they become lifelong donors. Yes. And I can give blood 4 times a year. Females only maximum really 3 times a year, but once a quarter I'm going to get my juice and bickies for want of a better word. And I feel like there's 12 lives every year, and if I do this for the next 40 years, let's say, hopefully that's going to make a difference to a lot of people in Northern Ireland. Think of all the Christmases, the birthdays, the graduations, the weddings that can happen from simply saving a person's life, and not only saving that, it's not only impacting that individual, but it's the whole family around that individual that you may well be saving. And all those amazing occasions that we experience through life, they can all happen because basically an ordinary person on an ordinary day goes in and does an extraordinary thing, and that's they donated their blood. Beautifully said, Johnny. And you're absolutely right. That's a huge, huge difference to life here in Northern Ireland, not just in terms of numbers, but as you say, in terms of life experiences lived that otherwise may not have been lived. I've got big news for you from the Stormont Hotel. Sheila says, you don't just get your bickies, you don't just get your juice.
there's a packet of crisps as well. Whew.
Hey, I look forward to that maybe.
Yeah.
So just to recap, text blood to 681 60081. But it could also be easier just to do an online search for Give Blood NI, and that'll take you to the Blood Transfusion Service website, where you can start to explore what criteria is needed. Can I register? Can I get into the system? Can I make a phone call to talk to a nurse to see if I'm eligible? Start the ball rolling, and hopefully there's people listening here that will take action today just to get registered and book their first donation. I think it's so important, and we can get that 6% of the country up a little bit higher, and we get the young ones, the 17-year-olds and onwards. We grow that group up for the service as well. Sheila
has been in touch also to say, I've donated over 60 pints of blood and never had an adverse reaction. So there you go. Jonny, thank you. I think you put that beautifully. I think you have defined why it's important and the possible impact of a simple act and how it can make such a huge difference, how the ripples can affect so many other people in a really, really positive way. So it's altruistic. It could be good for your health. From a selfish point of view, it's like a free health screening, and you get the juice and the bickies. But the most important thing is you're giving people a chance to celebrate Christmas, birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, births with their families. Brilliant. Jonny, thank you for that. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Thanks very much.
Talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.
Good man, John. Thank you. Bye.